This is Sparta!
And welcome in everybody to another Monday Night Mayhem for the NLFA featuring the Roughnecks and the Rattlers. It is DJ joined by Kelsey and Ryan. And Ryan, what are you expecting to see today so far as we got another fun matchup in the Northern Louisiana Football Alliance?
We got two teams, both coming off of losses from last week, and the Roughnecks and the Rattlers. The Roughnecks actually suffered their first loss of the season last week, a 24-9 loss against the league-leading Bombers. Meanwhile, the Rattlers still searching for that first win. They're still on the schneid, 0-3, averaging only about 6 points a game so far, coming off a 24-12 loss against the Rattlers. So, in a short season, both teams are hungry. Both teams want to get those wins, get as many wins as possible to get that playoff spot. I'm going to bring in our announce team, which would be DJ and Kelsey. Gentlemen, how are we doing on Monday? Monday Night Mayhem.
Ready for a little mayhem, I guess I got to say it. I mean, yeah. I'll be the one to put the nail on the head on this one. But yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, a team coming out their first loss is always a dangerous team, and a team with no wins is even more dangerous, I feel like. So should be a fun one tonight.
I'm really curious how the Rattlers come into this game as well, too, considering their game last week was only a half game because of the injuries that mounted between them and their opponent as well, too. So in theory, you should see them come in a little bit fresh as well, too, because they weren't the team that was feeling as much with the injuries as well. So I'm curious how only playing half a game last week is going to affect them coming into this one.
I'm kind of curious to see how the Roughnecks react to their first loss of the season. Are they going to come out flat, or are they going to be coming out swinging? Is this one or two reactions you have coming off your first loss of the year? Any kind of loss, especially the loss that they had last week, it was when they lost by 18. So I'm kind of curious to see how the Roughnecks will handle coming off their first loss of the year.
Yeah, definitely. It's always interesting, right? That first loss of the year, it's always that moment, you see coaches talk about it on undefeated seasons. They always want to get that one loss before the playoffs. Well, down the stretch, you have 3 more weeks of games, and now you're like, all right, well, we just got our first loss. Let's see what we can do, bounce back. This is our first taste of adversity. It's always a really interesting moment for that team to really know whether they're going to come together and improve and show what, because you can't, let's be honest, you can't really grow unless you lose a game. Now they've lost the game. Let's see what growth can come from that. Whereas the Rattlers, I mean, they've done nothing but grow this season. So now you're like, all right, well, when's that going to be that moment you take that next step? And that's what I want to see from the Rattlers tonight. Personally, I'm interested to see if they can take that next step and finally get over the hump over a team, like you just said, facing their first loss and potentially vulnerable in this one.
And the one part that's interesting is not only they lost to the Bombers, but because of this, everyone plays each other twice. They get a chance to redeem that later in the season as well. So they're going to be looking ahead to that one. So hopefully this doesn't turn into a proverbial trap situation where they're looking ahead for redemption, and then they maybe end up getting caught slipping, looking past this winless team as well too. So really looking forward to see how the Roughnecks handle this one coming into it.
Yeah, this is a rematch of Week 1 when the Roughnecks beat the Rattlers 6-0, and the Rattlers are the only shutout of the year so far in the NLFA. So this is definitely a revenge game for the Rattlers. Let's see if they come out with some bite. No pun intended.
All puns intended. Let's be honest. We're a pun network. We have the puns.
And I want to point out one key impact player I'm looking at for the Roughnecks as well too. I'm looking at the receiver Jack Wesley II, standing at 6'3", 245 pounds. Look for him to be a load. He is actually the second heaviest player on the team behind 2 offensive linemen. So he is literally heavier than some of their offensive linemen, their defensive linemen, their running backs. So look for them to try and get him the ball in open space against some, what you'd imagine are much smaller defenders as well too. So I'm really curious to see how they get him involved today.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And you mentioned it. Obviously, size across the line is not an important thing for the Roughnecks. Is their biggest offensive lineman is 6'2", 220 that I can see. And yeah, you mentioned 6'3", 245 for a receiver. That is what we're used to seeing, right, on a Sunday night in Lambeau. You're used to seeing a 6'3", 245 tight end. And now you're seeing a 6'3", 245 wide receiver. He honestly should be able to dominate jump ball situations if they get into the opportunity, especially 9-on-9. You don't have to worry about as much potential help from a safety over the top.
Absolutely as well, too. And looking at the Rattlers as well, too, Isaac Robinson, the running back, who also played a little bit of defense last week for them as well, too. So I look for him to get involved on both sides of the ball, see how they can integrate him as well, too. So he had a pretty solid performance last week and a tough loss as well, too. So those are the two impact players I have going into this game.
Yeah, and it should be fun to watch both of them. I mean, like, yeah, offense is key, right? And that's where we're going to be focusing pretty much all the time. And it's going to be probably the most fun we get to have is watching some of these offenses run up and down this field.
Yeah, as for me, I'm an offensive line guy. I'm a lineman at heart. So I'm interested to see what happens. Who wins the battle of the trenches between the Rattlers and the Roughnecks? So So I'm curious to see who's going to protect their quarterback, who's going to allow some running lanes, who's going to stop the quarterback, and who's going to stop the run game. So it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling pretty ready to go now. I think we've teased it long enough. I think we've kept the lead buried along. Who's ready for some Monday Night Mayhem?
All right, let's get that away. Ryan, we will see you back at halftime. We appreciate it as always, and we will see you again shortly. All right, DJ. Well, we're here. It is time. Monday Night Mayhem. Cannot wait for this, man. I'm excited to finally be back for you this week. I wasn't here with you this last week.
You're in for quite the experience as well, too. So let's go ahead and get it started. As we are underway here at the start of the first quarter, we do see the Roughnecks are going to start out with the ball with the Rattlers back on defense as well, too. The Roughnecks so in the shotgun with a running back flanking to the left. And they're going to start this one with an end-around two receiver, breaking the contain, gets away from the defensive end, turning this one on field, tries to put on a move, and a fantastic open field tackle by the corner on that play.
Absolutely picture-perfect tackle by number 13 there to shut down what could have been a big gainer there. I mean, you start with an end around like that, you're expecting that to go off for about 20 after he broke the tackle in the backfield. That was a fantastic job getting that first down there, too.
We learned anything from Chad Johnson. It's 85 is always open. We saw 85 with a lot of open grass there, but that was a fantastic play, holding it to just a short gain of looks like only maybe a yard, if even that as well, too. So really good defensive play as they huddle up, and now we see them coming back out on the line as well, too. Noticing the Rattlers playing a little bit more of a heavier front this week than they did last week as well, too. The tackles are pinned a little bit closer to the center. Second down and about 3 now. And the ball's on the ground. Loose ball. The quarterback unable to corral the snap, but it looks like he just falls on it before the defense could get it. So all the yards you gain set you back for a third down and long.
Yeah, you talk about how a team reacts coming off a loss right now. Play number 1 started off pretty well for the Roughnecks. Now number 2, though, with that fumble. That is not what you want to see if you're trying to bounce back after a loss. Now we're down to 3rd and long here, and the Rattlers, if they can get a stop here, have themselves an opportunity here early in the first to maybe capitalize on the Roughnecks maybe struggling to come back out after that loss last week.
Definitely coming out a little bit slow, and we did mention in the pregame too, both these teams already played, and it was a 6-0 ball game. So defense was at a premium, as offense was a little bit slow. As they're going to start this one with an end around, handing off to the running back, breaking the outside, breaks a tackle, fights for it, takes a huge hit stick, hitting his own teammates' defense. We got some laundry coming out on the field, and that one might be really close to a first down.
Looks like, well, actually, we had some laundry in the backfield. Looks like we're going to get holding as well as maybe a late hit here on the hit on the out of bounds. So, if anything, we might have offsetting penalties here. I'm not sure which side that holding is against, but that is definitely in the area of holding right near the left tackle. So, what we get the call. It is holding on the offense, and looks like late hit, unnecessary roughness on the defense. So, offsetting penalties back to 3rd and 8, DJ.
That's very interesting that they called the late hit on that one, considering I feel like the guy hit his own teammate, mostly hit his own teammate. I think that I didn't know you could actually get a rough late hit on your own teammate. Yeah,
I guess it's that new safety protocol, right? You just don't want to. It's the intent, not so much whether you make contact nowadays. It feels like, but third and long again. So we'll see what the Roughnecks come out with.
We'll see them coming out in the same formation. Shotgun with the running back to the right, receiver at the bottom of the screen, and then we see the quarterback rolling out underneath, trying a little shovel pass. The running back able to corral this one, and he is swallowed up for a loss of about 3 yards as the defense keyed in on that one, and they're going to force a kicking situation.
I am surprised the Rattlers did not get to that long underhand pitch. That one took a while to set up. I thought for sure the Rattlers were in the backfield for that one.
It looked like that old school shovel pass that we see a lot of teams like to run, but it was a lot longer to set up as well, too, and it's from the same side on the running back. There wasn't a whole lot of switching or motion around, too. So we're seeing 4th down and 12 now, and looks like they're getting ready, sending out the kicking unit as well, too, and shuffling some plays around. So Rattlers defense holding strong here early in this one on the first drive.
Yeah, fantastic job by the Rattlers, who, again, we'll talk about, has not been able to get on the right side of the score column yet this season at the end, but, again, coming up against a team that's shaky after last weekend, so... Well, it's a good start for him.
And this punt is away, and this is a pretty decent one. This one's going to go way back on the other side of the field, and it's going to be down right at, it looks like about 5 to 10 yards. It looks like about 10 on the 10-yard line, so that's where we'll see the Rattlers taking over on offense here in just a bit as well, too, as we actually do see the official, maybe some laundry on the field as well, too.
Yeah. Looks like they got started before the kick was made, so they're going to get that the 5-yard penalty here, probably a re-kick. So if you don't stand still and stay on your side of the line of scrimmage until the ball is kicked, they will throw a penalty. It is one of the interesting rules of the NLFA, if you will. 9-on-9 football, sometimes you have to give a little bit more leeway into the full contact, so a little bit more safety measures in this one.
Basically, stay in your lane is the best way to summarize as well, too. So we'll see a 4th down and 22 now. Is that we'll see the Roughnecks having to kick this one away yet again. I do want to point out with the Rattlers, you mentioned they have yet to be on the right side of the winning column. It has not been entirely due to their defense. Throughout the season, their defense has been effective, including a pick 6 last week to get on the board right away. The problem is offense kind of sputtered after that point.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I mean, you can do everything right defensively, but sometimes if your offense won't help you out, not a lot you can do at the end of the day. So we'll see if the Rattlers now taking over here have a chance.
And the Roughnecks were fielding this one, just breaking a couple of tackles. Spin move before being brought down after a gain of about 5 to 6 yards. We'll see the Rattlers set up shop on offense, and that one had a little bit of potential disaster after it kind of started bouncing around on the field. You know that pigskin can bounce any direction at any given time.
Yeah, a little bobble there as he was trying to corral it off the big hop, and, well, he did a good job of just holding on to it, did Joe MacArthur. So, good job there by the return man. Not to lose it, but and to get a couple yards, but that was close to detrimental. So
it's definitely a scary situation. We see the Rattlers offense coming back out. We just mentioned some rough stretches so far this season. Last week, they had one really huge play off of probably a 60-yard bomb, and the rest of the time, the offense really struggled to get going. So we'll see if they have a more on schedule type of approach. They see if they can kind of move the ball a little bit less dependent on the big plays. As you see, the big offensive line as well too. Like they have a different issue than what we talked about with the Roughnecks, who are a lot faster of a team and a little bit smaller. The Rattlers, They're bringing a little bit of extra beef out there.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely going to be a battle of the trenches here, as Ryan had pointed out in the pregame. Whether or not the Rattlers can control this offensive line, they have a great chance.
Absolutely. The first one's going to be a handoff off the right side, and that is quality immediately. Nowhere to go. Breaking some tackles, somehow squeezing through, and turning this into a 6-yard gain, still bouncing forward. I have no idea how he Houdini'd his way out of there for a gain of about 9 yards, but I think he managed to just climb himself out of a paper bag.
Yeah, that is the most. I think he actually gained get close to a first down here. This might be second and short, and what a fantastic effort by the running back. How do you break a tackle when you're already going to the ground? I don't know, but I just learned a new magic trick, and that is for sure. I mean, I think I could break that one out in Madden and still not have a chance to gain 9 yards.
Not a chance. 2nd down and 2 now as well, too. That one looked like it's going to be a loss of about 3. First contact is, what would you say, 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage? So
easily.
A gain of about 11 yards or so on the play.
And the tackle did a good job of stretching the line out. Unfortunately, just there was no guard help on the inside of that run play, and the guard's responsibility got in the backfield immediately. Yeah, like it's about 3 yards back, and that is just a fascinating play right there by the running back.
Absolutely. 2nd down and about 2 now. Rattlers coming out the spread. Look, quarterback rolling out to the left. He is going to keep this one, turning this one field. He's got the first down and a couple of extra before being tripped up out of bounds. But that's going to be a first down for the Rattlers after a gain of about 5.
Yeah, it looks like Roderick Wallace on just a quick quarterback sweep there. That's just as picture perfect as they come. If you're going to try to make it easy 2 yards, let's just let the quarterback. You know what? 8 on 8, everybody go tackle each other. 9 on 9, quarterback versus one player. I'm gonna take my big quarterback in that situation.
Absolutely as well too. One of the best playmakers on the field for them as well too, as he has been throughout the season as well. So we'll see 1st down and 10 now as the Rattlers coming back on offense. Receivers getting up right up to the line as well too, as they're getting ready to get set up. The Rattlers a little bit more of a spread approach compared to the Roughnecks with how they use their receivers and spread out the offenses. A little bit of a delay here as we're getting ready to get set up as well too. It looks like a little bit of conversating, a little bit of talking between some of the players in the huddle as well too, getting things situated as well too. Coach having a couple of words, it looks like, with the official by the looks of it too as well. So waiting to see Go ahead, sorry.
So it looks like they're trying to get on the same page here, trying to figure out what happened or what they're going to do for this offensive line. So maybe look for something interesting to happen.
And we see a shotgun to the quarterback, immediately under pressure, lets this one go deep up the left side, and that is caught right at the goal line. Is he in? Waiting for the official signal as well, too. We're going to see if they give him the spot, but it looks like he might have pulled that one with a sensational catch along the sideline.
What a throw, what a catch. Single coverage there on the left side, and you saw the separation between them. That had to have been about 4 or 5 yards from the corner to the receiver, and that ball was placed in there perfectly. And then you see the concentration to bring that in, and before the second tackler could get there to knock it out. And it looks like it will be just short here of the goal line, but it will be 1st and goal. And what a play right there.
Fantastic job from the Rattlers, just attacking this secondary and setting themselves up with a goal-to-go situation as well, too. And you got to mention earlier, you got to wonder if they're going to go with that quarterback keeper yet again. They were successful with this. We're right now seeing him with the running back to his left. Going to get the shotgun snap, immediately under pressure, throws it into the flat, right off the defensive back's hands and into another defender's hands. He is running up the right sideline, convoy out in front before going out of bounds. So it looks like this one could be a turnover, and it is. The Roughnecks holding strong in the goal-to-go situation.
Oh, you talk about a lot of these times, you talk about receivers, quarterbacks, who's at fault for a pick, right? This one, unfortunately, bounces off the hands of the receiver right into the DB, and that's a rough one right there, if you will, if right there on the goal line. You mentioned it, maybe go with the quarterback sweep, maybe a run right there that worked for you previously. They don't, they go with the quick out, and unfortunately, just the ball doesn't fall their way on that one, and a fantastic job by the Roughnecks to return that and get back in positive field position.
Promising start to the drive. To the drive for the Rattlers ends unfortunately with a turnover in the goal-to-go situation. So we'll see the Roughneck coming back out on offense now after what was a really rough series for them last time as well too. So you see them with a more condensed look compared to the counterparts as well too, in tight with some of their players as well too. Quarterback is in the shotgun. A couple linemen are getting set up as we see the defensive line for the Rattlers starting to spread out a little bit more compared to what we saw on the first drive as well. Handoff goes up the middle to the running back, makes a couple of men miss before being brought down for a gain of maybe 3 or so yards.
Yeah, they actually, the Rattlers that time actually only went with 3 down defensive linemen, trying to maybe go with a little bit more coverage protection there. Unfortunately, that was the exact moment the Roughnecks decided to go with a dive up the middle. And that is, if anybody doesn't know, three defensive linemen versus a 5-man offensive line. You got your odds are ever against you in that one for sure. So that is a easy positive gain there for the offense. But with that said, it was only a gain of 4.
Only a gain of 4 yards. So that's going to have a 2nd down and 6 now for the Roughnecks, going forward this time compared to their last drive as well too. As you see once again, the 3-down lineman, quarterback getting snapped. He's going to check it down to the running back in the flat. He's got a little bit of room, turns this one upfield, the shoulder, and the ball pops out of bounds. And this is recovered by the defense right along the sideline, waiting for the official signal as well too. And by the looks of it, we're waiting for the official signal, but this might be the Rattlers' ball after a big takeaway.
Yeah, and Joe MacArthur right there. Fantastic job. He was the guy that kind of got blown up there, but he manages to strip the ball loose from the big bumbling running back down the sideline here and able to just get back on top of it, too, before stepping out of bounds. Fantastic footwork along the sideline to not go out of bounds.
Absolutely, and if you're going to dip the shoulder and go for the truck stick, you got to put both hands on the ball as well, too, otherwise things like that happen. So the Rattlers are able to get a takeaway of their own now and coming back on offense. A little bit, we might have to call this game the bakery with the amount of turnovers we've seen here early on.
Absolutely, and they get a positive. You do want to talk about perfect field position right here, just on the positive side of the field, or just on the other side of the midfield line. And man, that is exactly where, if you're the Rattlers, you want to start, especially after last drive's incident on the goal line. You should say.
Absolutely as well too. So we'll see what the Rattlers have cooking on offense as they come back out as well too. And looks like they're also going to go with a bit of a spread look as well too, kind of like what we talked about. Empty backfield as well too, as the quarterback back there by himself. So they're going to trust the offensive line to hold up here. And immediately under pressure, digging that one out of the dirt, and he's going to get sacked off of the edge for a loss of about 12 yards. And that play had disaster written on it from the beginning. Yeah,
that was not pretty at all. And well, you see right here, unfortunately, this has been the offensive woes for the Rattlers all season. It's always been something happens on the drive, and it's whether it be a bad snap or a fumble or a pick. It's something's preventing them from scoring, and you keep seeing it again here, as that is just not how you want to start out a brand new drive off of a turnover.
Not at all. And you mentioned really good field position to start. Well, not so much anymore as well, too. Now you got 20 yards to go, and you're about 10 yards from the midfield line. So we'll see what kind of plays they have called for this situation. Is a 2nd down and 20. About 3 minutes left to go in this first quarter. And sticking with the empty set yet again as well, too. We'll see if they are able to hold up as the the Roughnecks have sent a little bit of pressure here the last couple times. Looks like they're even trying to rearrange the offensive line and the tight end to try and see if they can get a little bit of extra time as the Roughnecks, they're going to bring the extra guy immediately under pressure, letting this one go deep up the left sideline, and that one is up, and it is intercepted as that is another turnover. The Roughnecks taking this one away, and we got 3 turnovers here in the first quarter.
Yeah, it is back and forth. And look, the quarterback didn't have much time there. They brought the extra man, as you mentioned. That left a single coverage on the outside, and you usually like your chances. Your fast receiver versus their corner. Well, he had the space. Unfortunately, that ball just floated a little too much on the quarterback, and that's just easy pickings for any corner in the league.
Are you surprised that when you see that the Roughnecks are basically sending the house at you every single time and you're not going to be able to block them? They don't have any check down routes or anything. It seems like everything's 20 yards down the field, and they kind of have to just throw it up like that.
It's tricky, right? Like with 9-on-9, it's a lot harder to get some of these check down routes fit into your offensive scheme because you want to still protect your quarterback, but at the same time you want to be able to give him an outlet, and that's a situation where maybe you have one of these outside down linemen, up backs type players just slip right into essentially a tight end screen, and maybe that might help out in those situations. But you're exactly right. I do think they need to have something in the playbook there for a check down.
As we'll see the Roughnecks back on offense, handing this one up the gut, and the running back caught just after a gain of about 2 yards. A fantastic job wrapping up the legs to avoid a potentially big gain.
Yeah, he looked like he was on a full head of steam up the field and just able to be pulled back there, and then really no gain. It feels like after that one it looked like he had evergreen in front of him.
There's a whole lot of green grass going forward as well, too, but just getting stopped after a gain of just maybe a yard, if even that as well, too. So the Roughnecks still struggling to get their offense going as well, too, relying a little bit more on the run game, so they haven't had to worry as much about the Rattlers getting after the quarterback. But what is surprising to me is since that first drive, we've only seen the 3 down linemen look as well, too. They have not put nearly as many men on the line as they did on that first drive.
Yeah, this is very interesting. I mean, they are kind of trying to spread them out, I guess, in this case, getting a little more protection, and you see it here on this little quick dump-off. There's a guy right there in the gap for him, and again,
it looks like that ball got yanked out at the back end of it as well, too. This is going to depend on the official call, but it looks like we might have turnover number 4 here in the first quarter as the ball getting ripped out by the defender, and looks like they're going to give him the takeaway. So the Rattlers answering right back. 4 takeaways in, what was it, the last 12 plays now, it feels like.
Yeah, and you see a couple Roughnecks helmets being thrown there as it is going to be, go ahead and do a timeout here. But look, this is Joe MacArthur yet again on another turnover, as that is going to do it for the end of the first quarter. We are here in the second now. But, man, that is Joe MacArthur with yet another big play to end that first quarter. As the interesting thing with the NLFA, we talked about it last week, the running clock at all times. So that does end it for your first quarter and going into the second as we will switch sides of the field. But now the Rattlers here with the ball back, able to do something with it potentially.
Absolutely as well, too. And some of the best field position they've had since they were right on the goal line as well, too. We'll see if they are able to capitalize as we're in the shotgun. A much more condensed formation this time around, too. A very low snap, and they're going to hand this one off. Breaks the initial tackle, breaks a couple, turns this one up the right side.
Oh, wow.
Still on his feet, makes a man miss in open space, makes another man miss for being tripped up just after a gain of about 15 yards and a first down, and an incredible effort by the running back.
Yeah, that is fantastic running right there. Again, this is the same guy we just saw split a tackle up 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage and Houdini his way for 9 yards. Here he is, sweet feeding his way around the corner, making men miss left and right, and just unfortunately gets upended before he could walk into the end zone.
With feet like that, do you have to imagine he was probably the double Dutch champion out on the playground back in the day? Because his feet were bouncing all over the place and still staying under control.
Oh, easily. He definitely had the double Dutch champion, probably the hopscotch champion as well.
Probably the double Dutch while hopscotching at the same time as well, too. Something along those lines. So we'll see a first down and goal now for the Rattlers. Now going with a more spread look this time around as well, too. 2 receivers at the very top of the screen. Running back to the left of the quarterback. And they're going to roll the quarterback out to the left. He's got the edge. He's turning this one upfield. Runs through the corner before being brought down by the secondary defender after gain of maybe 2 to 3 yards if that. So we'll see a second down and goal coming up.
Yeah, great job by the Roughnecks to see that, diagnose it, and to get out to the edge to contain the quarterback. Because at first that did look like he had a very good chance to get the edge and get to potentially the end zone, but they diagnosed it and spread it out pretty quickly. We talked about the different sizes in the teams. The Rattlers a little bit bigger than the Roughnecks. That does lend you to having a little bit more speed if you're the smaller team, and you saw it right there with the Roughnecks able to get to the edge and protect it from the quarterback going around.
Absolutely. So we'll see second down and goal now, and right now spreading things out once again as well, too. As you see the quarterback in the shotgun with a running back next to him as well, too. A couple of receivers at the top of the screen, and still waiting for them to get fully lined up as well, too. Looks like they're going to have an up back up there as well, too. See if they, as you mentioned earlier, to get him involved in the passing game as well. As we're waiting for the official snap getting lined up. Second down and goal now, about 2 to 3 minutes here into the second quarter. Looks like we're going to get a timeout on the play as well, too. And nope, we are officially now underway. Quarterback in the shotgun with a running back to his left, getting the snap. He's going to roll out to his left, looking at field, makes a man miss. Plenty of time, throws it to the back of the end zone, and unable to connect. He had a couple of guys open there in the back, but that will fall incomplete.
Yeah, he had his receiver coming open on a deep in route there, deep dig, wide open in the middle of the end zone. Just unfortunately missed him. Actually looking at the receiver on the left instead of the right, and just throws it actually through the upright. So unfortunately, not quite there on the same page, the quarterback and receivers, but you saw the chances there for the Rattlers. Obviously, trying to get the quarterback in space to get an open look at the end zone or to let him use his feet. The Roughnecks again doing a great job containing the quarterback, keeping him inside of the box and trying to make him make those passes. And as of right now, it's not hurting them. So let's see if the Roughnecks can keep it going.
Curious to see what kind of what the Rattlers have here for this third down and goal situation now as well too. It looks like about 6 yards away as they're going to get the shotgun snap. Not a whole lot of pressure. It's throwing this one to the bottom of the screen, and that one, it looks like it will fall incomplete. Ball pokes out the very end, but it looks like we got some laundry on the field yet again.
Yeah, we'll see it. We'll have to wait and see what this flag is for. But that is a tough break there. As looked like maybe they were just going for just quick front of the end zone type of a play, and just again couldn't squeeze the ball as that one popped loose.
Absolutely. As we were waiting to see on the call, it looks like it might be in the area of holding on the offense as well too. By the way, the official is looking at. Let's say we're looking for the call. It is holding on the offense, so that is going to potentially push them back if they do accept it as well too. So if you were and they're going to decline this to make it a fourth down and goal, and intriguing. Do you think they probably should have accepted it to make it even? I know that's fourth and goal from about 7 yards out, but what about third and goal from 17 yards out?
Man, I've seen the Rattlers struggle on everything right now getting into the end zone. I honestly don't feel bad about declining this one if I'm the Roughnecks. I feel like my defense, again, coming off our first loss of the season, I'd feel pretty good about my defense holding them up to this point. But if I'm the Rattlers, I feel a little slighted by them declining that penalty right there inside of a goal-to-go situation, and I'm going to be trying to drive this one down their throat. If I'm the Rattlers, that's my choice. But the Roughnecks, I kind of don't blame them for declining that.
It does make sense as well too. I mean, it's fourth down and goal from the 7's no easy task. The field is still pretty condensed right here, and you got a ways to go. Shotgun snap from the quarterback under pressure, throwing this one to the bottom of the screen. It is caught. Let's see where the mark is. Looks like it's going to be just short of the goal line, so that is going to be a turnover on downs by the looks of it. And honestly, that's kind of why you're able to decline is even when they complete the pass, you still don't have enough space to get in the end zone.
Yeah, honestly, where's that play on third down? I need that play on third down. And that gets you there 1 yard away to use those big bruising back, or actually, really, your back that has been magicianing his way through the other opposing team. Like you gotta maybe plan that one out a little bit differently. But you know what, the Roughnecks again, just squeezing out some magic there and preventing the Rattlers from getting in the end zone on what was a very nicely designed play. It just unfortunately came on fourth down and not third.
Exactly as well. So you just need a little bit more real estate. There's the Roughnecks with a bit of a rough defensive stretch, but holding strong at the back end of the drive as well too. So they'll come back out on offense. Less than 10 minutes to go in the half, and we are so far scoreless as both defenses have been on their takeaway grind today as well too. Both offenses have struggled to keep the ball, and the defense has been opportunistic with it. So Bombers taking over on offense deep in their own territory as well too. And you got to imagine they got to have something cooked up to just kind of get the ball moving forward as well too. You can't be going for a full 80-yard bomb here.
Oh, why not?
Well, you know what? They're going to go with a quick hitch out into the flats. Give it to the guy. Makes a man miss. Turns it upfield. Spins again. Breaking tackles and falls forward for a gain of about 25 yards. So you know what? I guess they split the difference as they threw it short and almost got the 80-yard touchdown ball.
Absolutely, man. That is a fantastic play. You know what? When you have speed on the outside, we talked about the difference in size of the players. When you have speed on the outside, you might as well use it to your advantage, and you saw it right there exactly why. As we do actually see a little bit of an injury on the play, actually, by the receiver who caught that one. You see him walking with his helmet off, heading to the sideline here. So that's a tough break, but you know what? That's how you get out of the shadow of your own end zone.
Absolutely. You hope he's going to be all right moving forward as well, too. And that's a fantastic job by the Roughnecks to get something going in. The second effort on the play, once he got the ball in his hands as well, too, breaking tackles, spinning forward, and keeping the legs churning. All middle school and elementary football coaches will be proud of that one as well. So we'll see now under center for the Roughnecks. They're going to hand this one off the right side. The running back gets tripped up the ball. It looks like it does go loose on the ground, and we're going to see a loss of about 3 to 4 yards. So that running play having absolutely nowhere to go is we actually do see the Rattlers. We see the Roughnecks, it looks like, coming out with the ball, so we'll have to see what the call is here.
Yeah, coming out with the ball, and he's saying he was untouched the whole time, too, and still up. If he did, that would have been magical had he actually done that, but it sounded like they had already called the play dead, and that's the confusion we're dealing with now. And It always begs the question: is he down? Is he not down? Right? That's
a little bit of Jonathan Dwyer flashbacks there with Auburn, Oregon from 2009 there by the looks of it as well too. With their for a second, just not quite down.
Little space between the knee and the turf, no big deal or anything.
Just enough space for some air. So we'll see 1st down and 10 now, and it looks like waiting to see what the call is here. As the camera's a little bit low, but it says 1st down and 10. So I think they're actually saying that the Rattlers came away with this ball by the looks of it as well too. Maybe is waiting to see the official.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
All right, so it looks like the Rattlers came away with that one by the looks of it. So they're going to come back out on offense as well too. So does that put us at 5 total turnovers now, or 6 to include the 1st down too?
We'll go 5 total turnovers and a turnover on down at this point in time. By the way, that's the first turnover I can see that has not been caused by Joe MacArthur for the Rattlers. He's caused 2 of them, and then that one it looks like a defensive lineman got in there, and I wasn't able to see the number, but tough break. But here the Rattlers again in positive position on that 1st down play, unable to get anything going. But again, positive field position to start yet another drive. Can they finally punch it in the end zone?
Absolutely. As you mentioned Joe MacArthur. He decided to let somebody else eat on the turnover first as well, too. He finally decided to share some of the dessert. So we'll see 2nd down and 10 now as that pass falls incomplete. The Rattlers once again trying to find a way to get into the end zone here as well, too. Both teams got really, really close within 5 to 10 yards in the goal-to-go situation and have come up just short now with more than halfway through the 2nd quarter. Still tied. Nothing 0-0. Rather, 2nd down and 10. Getting lined up now on the ball, and it looks like they're going to go with a bit of a condensed formation here as well, too, kind of as now they change their mind and the receivers start to split out wide as well. So showing like they're going to come out condensed as the Bombers with 4 down defensive linemen and 1 stand-up guy right on the edge. Looks like they're going to continue bringing the extra heat, sending the extra man. Quarterback double clutches, throws this one up. That is a fair catch by the defense and another turnover. The Roughnecks are going to take this one right back. We're now at 7.
Oh, no, I think he dropped it.
He looks like he might not have held it through by the looks of it. Waiting to see the official call, but that one was a fair catch opportunity for the defensive back.
Yeah, that is about it. I talked about the one earlier being as easy as they come. I take it back. That might have been an even easier opportunity, but a great job by the receiver for the Rattlers, turning cornerback right there and just knocking that one away as he was coming down to the ground and saving an opportunity there. But it was very interesting. They actually had an unbalanced line on that play. The Rattlers did. They had 3 down linemen to the left, single down lineman to the right of the center, and still could not stop the blitz coming from that strong side. It just slipped right through, and you gotta have to put hat on a hat eventually if you're the Rattlers.
You kind of mentioned earlier that maybe keep an extra guy in their block. Do you maybe want to see them bring a receiver and really tight, almost like an H-back, and just maybe chip somebody or something like that? Like put a hand on them at this point? Because right now they're sending 5 and you're only blocking 3. It's getting through every single time.
Yeah, and even when they send 4, they're still sending them from so far wide you're not able to get there, as we see it again.
That quarterback draw, that they didn't draw that one up very well. As that one was shut down almost immediately on the snap.
Yeah, again, that was just a wide blitz. That's all that was. Linebacker set up a little bit wider than the outside defensive lineman, and nobody even addresses them. They all went up the middle, and you see the quarterback draw slow to get started, slow to get underway, and not able to get going. And that was just an easy takedown behind the line of scrimmage for the Roughnecks.
And based on the markers, we're looking at about a 4th down and 15 now for the Rattlers. So I'm curious to see what they got cooked up here, because you're really almost too close to punt it at this point. Maybe you bring out a kicking. I don't know what you draw up here. Do you just kind of throw it up and hope this time it gets caught? Because you have not been able to block long enough to set up down the field plays.
Arm punts aren't the worst thing in the world in 4th and 15s like this. If you give your guy a 50-50 shot, I mean, you're really going to have an opportunity. You look at some of the size discrepancies, obviously we talked about for the Roughnecks. They have their own size discrepancy. But you look at number 17 there for the Rattlers. He has a huge size discrepancy over his corner, and he has an opportunity here.
He had it last week, too, on a 60-yard bomb. As they're going to throw it up in his direction, up into the end zone, and that one will fall incomplete. Asking for the pass interference call. He is not going to get it by the looks of it, as I don't see any laundry on the field in that vicinity, but you do see the official making a point here in the backfield, so there might be something in the backfield to keep an eye on.
Yeah, they are still there, like as if there was a penalty here, and I don't see it. However, the Rattlers are still on the field as if there was.
As we do see, it looks like they're starting to move back, and it looks like we do see the Roughnecks starting to come out on offense as well, too. That will be a turnover on downs. The Roughnecks coming out is we now got 2 turnovers on downs and 6 turnovers in general early on in this first half as well, too. 3.5 minutes to go, and see if the Roughnecks could get something going offensively. See if we can get some points in before the end of the half. I don't know what the betting odds are on that one, but I have to imagine it's pretty good that we might go into this one scoreless.
Yeah, and it's amazing to me that the best chances come so far for the Rattlers. They've started on the positive side. 4 out of the 5 possessions, and yet not a single chance, not a single point yet for the Rattlers. The Roughnecks not really giving much extra fight here, barely crossing the 50 before losing the ball a couple times.
As we'll see this first down handoff go for a gain of maybe 4 to 5 yards, still rumbling and keeping the feet moving, and somehow spins his way forward for a gain of about 12 yards, keeping the feet churning at 1,000 miles an hour. So we got ourselves a first down after an 11-yard gain.
Yeah, and this time going down after he gets stood up. It is the running back, and you see he's been a couple times now stripped of the ball as he got stood up. This time smartly going down after getting stood up. So great job by him to even get positive yards, and then on top of that, keep the legs driving as you mentioned, but then to go down more specifically at the very end of it.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 4 times. Well, hold on, we got ourselves a problem here. So I guess they weren't going to get caught that time as well, too. Closing in on the 2-minute mark now. Ball at close to midfield now. Roughnecks starting to move down. See if they can get some points here before the end of the half. As we see the Roughnecks Rattlers bringing some extra pressure. Storm in the backfield, the running back getting away, trying to reverse field all off Barry Sanders. He is going to be somehow make the edge defender miss, trying to cut back, jukes one guy, falls forward for a loss of about 13 yards. And you know what? It was bad early and it got bad late, as we do have some laundry at the back end of this play as well.
I wonder if this might potentially be a block in the back here as he doubled back going to the far side on that far hash. It looked like there was a opportunity for the same man who got stiff-armed to make a tackle in the backfield, and it looks like he might have actually gotten cleared out by a block in the back there. But you see some of the athleticism on display there. Trying to make something out of nothing, unfortunately. Well, his lineman forgot to block as he tried to make something out of nothing.
Yeah, sometimes very few guys can get away with reversing field. Very few can get away with it when there's no blocking on top of it, when the blocking is a little bit suspect as well, too. So, you know what? You played offensive line. When you see someone reverse field, is it like, oh gosh, gotta go get somewhere? Are you kidding me right now?
It depends. Did I just pancake my guy? If I just pancaked my guy, then I'm licking my chops to pancake another guy on the crackback, as long as it's legal. Let me just be clear about that. As long as it's a legal block. But if I did not just pancake my guy, I'm super angry because now my guy is traversing field, and I have to somehow block him without holding.
As we see, second and 30, quarterback corralling the rough snap, lets this one go deep up the left sideline. He's got a man wide open and off the hands. Nothing but him in the end zone. It will fall incomplete, and he's going to spike his helmet after the play with an upset rage. And I can't blame him on that one. That was probably one of the easiest touchdowns he's seen in a while, but looks like it will not matter, as we did have a flag on the play on the offense as well, too. So it looks like it does not make a big deal, but Coach definitely having some words with it.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking right there. That was Ethan Ortiz actually wide open there. The other quarterback, 6'1" quarterback, that's 200. He was the wide open receiver downfield, and just, well, you see why he plays quarterback more often than not.
And you definitely see him the coach is having a couple of words with him as well, too, because honestly, I think he's getting flagged for the spike of the helmet after the play, if I'm not mistaken, as well, too. So we're seeing third down and 30, moving back a little bit farther on top of it. So they got a very long ways to go and not a whole lot of time left to go. Now tossing his helmet at the end of it, and that is going to do it for the half. Third down and 40, and the clock will start to run down as well, too, as we get ready to head into halftime. And you know what, Kelsey? It's halftime. It's been a turnover fest. We're well on pace for double-digit turnovers. We're going to bring back Ryan for our halftime show. And Ryan, what'd you see there in the first half?
Well, we might just call this game a bakery because it's a turnover factory right now, gentlemen. This has been a rough game to watch so far. Just between let's go over the possessions for each team in this half. Punt, interception, fumble, interception, fumble, turnover on downs, fumble, turnover on downs, end of the half. This has been pretty rough. This has been a pretty rough showing. As I said in the pregame, I was kind of curious to see how the Roughnecks would come out, and so far they've come out and looking not so much flat, but it just seems like that the Rattlers are kind of in their head, but in the same fashion, the Roughnecks are in the Rattlers' head, because you had two chances for the game to get some points on the board for the Rattlers, and each time was either a turnover on downs or was an interception that from the receiver. Receivers, you gotta catch the ball. But I gotta give credit to the awareness of the Roughnecks defensive back, who was right there after the deflection off the hands, right there to pick the ball off and take it back, and then then the other possession, get inside the red zone of the Roughnecks. The Rattlers did, and you can't convert points. So we got a tie game. We got two goose eggs right now. And guys, it's going to come down to who scores first, and to see if if other team can if their defense can hold off the other team's offense.
So what you're telling me is the best possession of the half was a punt. That is pretty much what I'm hearing right now. How often do you get to say that a punt was the bright spot?
Yeah, no, really. I mean, look, I feel like the Rattlers are in both teams' heads. I feel like the Rattlers up until this point, their season is still in their head when it gets to getting in the red zone, because how do you get to the red zone two different drives, opportunity after opportunity, and you throw a pick on one, which, okay, very unfortunate situation to have it bounce off your receiver's hands into the defender's hands, but that came off the back of a huge play down the sideline. That's an opportunity. And then on the other side of it, you get to on the other end of the field, the red zone, and then you throw it away, really. Like, you threw away a great opportunity with two wide open receivers basically running into each other, but you threw it still
on third down. And on third down, too.
and you threw it through the end zone still another 10 yards high, and like that's an unfortunate situation where it's just you got to be a little bit more on point, but it feels like the Rattlers are in their own head, and then at the same time they're in the Roughnecks' head when the Roughnecks are on offense. The Roughnecks cannot hold on to the ball for the life of them right now, and you saw there that big drop pass down at the end of the second quarter. That's heartbreaking, because he had all the grass in the world to just play with. He could have just made a grass snow angel at that point in time and had fun. Like, it's rough. Yeah, it's gonna have to get better for the Roughnecks and for the Rattlers if they're gonna have to figure it out in the red zone if they're gonna have any chance of getting on the first win of the season.
Yeah, for me, for the Rattlers, the one thing I think I got concentrated on in the second half is their line play. I mentioned it in the pregame show. It's the battle of the trenches. Battle of the trenches always comes down to I've seen the center lob the ball, kind of loft it on the shotgun snap. So that worries me a little bit. Because that means your quarterback has no time to throw if you're just lofting the ball on your shotgun snap. So Rattlers, they got to improve some line play, got to get their quarterback some time. On the flip side of the ball, Roughnecks, they got to block better for their running back. He had that one big run towards the end of the first half, but then he had that run right after where he tried to do a Barry Sanders impression and kind of go over the place, and that was not a great idea. So I'm kind of looking to see some improvement on both sides of the ball on the line for both teams in this half.
Well, we definitely promised mayhem, and we got that tenfold here so far in this one as well, too. So we'll definitely see if the offenses do have anything picked up here in the second half as well, too. Defenses showed up. It's been a turnover fest, as Ryan mentioned. Really curious to see how the offense does get going. Ryan, we thank you for joining us here at halftime. We will see you in the postgame as well, too. Hopefully we'll have a player of the game by then. Otherwise, we might just have to go with the ball, considering it's been passed around at this point.
Well,
hey, don't sleep on Ryan MacArthur at this point in time, man. He's still responsible for 2 of these turnovers, and he is playing great on defense.
Joe MacArthur is also my selection right now, so let's see what happens in the second half.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Ryan, for joining us. We'll see you here at the end of the game for our post game as well, too. Kelsey, let's go and jump right back into the mayhem and see if the defenses continue to terrorize the offenses or if the offense can kick it into the next gear as we get ready to start the third quarter now, as the Rattlers getting their chance on offense now as well, too. And you know what? I think that's kind of good for them as well, too. I think it's good to get on offense here. Out of the half, you had a miserable first half, but you find yourself tied nonetheless. As we see now, third quarter now, 15 minutes ago, as we see the teams huddled up, getting ready to go. And I'm curious to see what the Rattlers are going to come out and do as well, too. We saw them kind of change up the schemes back and forth a little bit. They did spread looks, kept getting under pressure, tried to condense it a little bit. So, Kelsey, I'm kind of curious. Do you think they're going to go with a more spread option, or do you want to see them kind of pack up the line a little bit?
You know, I don't mind the spread look from basically inside of the year 20s. Like, so not in the red zone. Once you're in the red zone, I need to see that H-back slide in there, or if you get to a third down situation, otherwise the Roughnecks, they are sending 3, 4, 5 from the outside, from the inside. They don't care. They're just going to send extra pressure, and they don't care if their men are on an island outside, because you still have to get the ball away, and right now the Rattlers have not been able to get the ball away.
As we do see, it looks like they're going to send some heat off the top of the screen as well, as they're going to hand it off, running back, cutting, reversing field. He's got a lane, turning this one up the left sideline. Blocker out front, makes a man miss, dips the shoulder, runs through a guy before he pushed out of bounds, and that's just what the doctor ordered for the Roughnecks, a gain of about 25 yards on first down.
What a cutback. What vision there. And the blocking on the front side, his center absolutely led the way. And that, again, we talked about him as a potential MVP of the first half, Joe MacArthur, being the running back there, again, making himself known on the field. And that was a great cutback and great vision to make it all the way here really out of nothing.
A cutback done right as well. Instead of losing 30 yards, you gained 20 by the looks of it as well, too. So we'll see another first down now for the Rattlers setting up shop. And that time they actually ran away from where the edge pressure is coming from as well, too. So I'm curious to see if they will continue to implement a strategy similar to that. As right now, it looks like the pressure is going to come off the bottom of the screen. They will try it again, handing this one off the middle, breaking some tackles, turns it up, makes a man miss into the second level. Big hit stick, still on his feet, dipping the shoulder, and another 15 to 20 yard gain. That's going to put them inside the scoring area now as well, too. And huge back-to-back runs from the Rattlers.
You know, I've called him Sweet Feet at this point in time. I called him Houdini. Maybe he's a Mack truck at this point in time as well. I'm starting to run out of adjectives. A muscle hamster. Like Joe MacArthur is having himself a game at this point in time, and unfortunately here looks like he had another holding going back for the Rattlers, and all the positive plays for the Rattlers, they're just again in their own way at the end of the day.
You're almost right back where you started. This one occurred early in the play as well, too. So that's going to back them up probably about a 40-yard swing there, if you by the looks of it as well, too, pushing them way back to the 2 inside, almost close to where they started off as well, too. So first down and 20 now coming up for the Rattlers. And I'm not going to lie, I'm calling the exact same play again to see if it'll work.
100% this is going in Joe MacArthur's hands, and I'm just going to say, look, kid, do what you got to do. If you have to bowl your own teammate out of the way, do it, because right now he is lights out offensively and defensively. He is the showman to this game at this point in time. It feels like with Joe MacArthur. So I'm going to keep feeding him until his wheels fall off. And I hate to say it that way, but if the Rattlers are going to have success right now, it feels like it's going to come through Joe MacArthur.
My question with him though is you kind of mentioned Sweet Feet, you mentioned him a bulldozer, you mentioned him as like a spin move. Do we just call him Optimus Prime at this point if he continues doing things like this? If he does again, do we give him a nickname like Megatron style or something?
If he converts a 1st and 20 for a first down or something in 20 for a first down, yeah, he can be Optimus Prime at that point in time. He can be whatever he wants. He can be Megatron at that point in time.
That'll be fair. So it looks like we do got some pre-snap movement as well too, and it looks like we're gonna see who it's called on as well too. Both sides pointing at each other as you see pre-snap penalties, and you got to imagine if this one is on the offense, we're gonna make it a 1st and 25, which might even optimize the Optimus Prime name if he gets a 1st and 25.
Yeah, this was always my favorite offensive line game. I totally didn't jump off sides first. He jumped off sides. It's all on him and the pointing game. It was always one of my favorite offensive line games because it's the only one that did not take pressure on my knees and allowed me to breathe a little bit. Unfortunately, you're never right. Like that's the one key if you're the offensive lineman. You are never right the moment you start pointing.
And it looks like it's going to be on the offense. So first down and 25 now is the Rattlers. If I'm not mistaken, that puts them back even a little bit farther than where they started this drive as well too. After 2 big runs and then the big holding call as well too. So right now we see them coming out in the spread look here on 1st and 25. Shotgun snap out to the quarterback. Plenty of time. Throws it underneath. He's got a man. Tries to make a man miss. Good job holding on to the leg, and then a big finish at the end by the defensive back coming in to finish it off. And that'll be a gain of maybe about 8 to 10 yards or so. Make it a second down and less hectic, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Less hectic. And I believe that was Jamal Grant there on the reception, getting his big wide receiver involved. And finally, we saw somebody slip out of that down lineman set on the edge, that basically the tight end position, and turn it into an actual route and a wide open route because they actually had time to get him the ball. We've been asking for that pretty much all game, as we've seen the blitz go back and forth the way it has.
And by the way, Ryan has let us know that the nickname should be Rodimus Prime, so that is the one we are going for as well too. So we'll definitely keep that in mind if you pull something off here. Second down and 18 now for the Rattlers. About 10 minutes to go in this third quarter as we see them coming back out on getting set up now, and it looks like they're gonna keep the running back in the back, but go with a more spread look once again as well too. And based on the alignment, I think they're gonna try and bring some heat off the top of the screen. So I'm curious if they're gonna try and run down to the bottom of the screen are the Rattlers. Shotgun snap out, immediately under pressure, throws this one over the middle. This one is caught at the bottom of the screen by the receiver, and not a whole lot of room to work there. I think he might have gained 2 to 3 yards, if even that. Not a whole lot of space to work with.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, that's a great coverage there. You almost, honestly, with how little he gained there, you almost kind of wish he would have just dropped it. So that way it didn't have to take that big hit at the end of the play. As you see him actually kneeling on the sideline. Oh, he's back up now. But they actually we just talked about Rodimus Prime wide open here in the flats. If he would have been maybe looked down, took to his check down a little bit earlier, he could have had his what has been an outstanding player so far wide open in the flats to do some work.
So you have to imagine the Roughnecks are going to bring some extra heat on 3rd down and 16 as they've done quite often. At this point, I'm almost wondering if they try and go right up the gut with something. So we see the Rattlers getting the shotgun snap. Drive back immediately under pressure, tries to break the sack, and he's going to go down. Ball pops out at the end, but they're going to say he was whistled down deep inside their own territory, and the Rattlers Now they're going to be faced with a very long punting situation after a very, very promising start to the draft.
Yeah, nothing he could do, nothing the quarterback can do there. He was Roger Wallace was immediately being attacked in the backfield, and the defense played a great job there on Joe MacArthur, who we just talked about, siding himself into the flats. I thought that was going to be the Dallas Cowboys special from the mid 2000s, the classic halfback screen. That's not technically a screen, but it's a screen. We all know kind of the play. Get Marion Barber in the flats type of play. That's exactly what that was set up to be, but the defense played it fantastically and immediately shut down Joe MacArthur. Did not allow Roderick Wallace to find anything downfield.
4th down and 26, and it looks like they were set out the kick unit. Yet again, as we joked about at halftime, a punt was arguably the best way to end a drive in that first half. So it looks like they're going to start it off the same way, the second half the same way they start off the first half. 7 minutes of possession so far on that series, and you netted about negative 15 yards, I think, give or take, from where you started.
How heartbreaking is that? You were in positive hit territory. You were moving it, run after run after run. And then again, you got in your own way.
And this punt is up and away, and it's a pretty good one as well, too. Is this going to take a bounce at just about where the first down marker is and turning this one upfield, getting through the first line of the defense, cutting back and reversing field to the left side. He's got a convoy out in front, makes a man miss.
Oh, what a tackle.
Right about where the ball was, and a fantastic tackle at the end of that to avoid a potential touchdown.
Oh, that is as square him up as it can get on that open field tackle. As he misses that by a half an inch, and that return man is gone. That was a fantastic return. I had a little bit of question why he ran backwards as he cut across field, and you know what? He can do whatever he wants when he can run that fast. That is as fantastic a return man as you could ask for. Just trying to make something happen in what has been a very 0-0 ball game. It feels like every way you can cut it, it's been deserving of a 0-0 scoreline.
As it does look like we have a bit of an injury on the play as well, too, as it looks like they were attending to, but we do have it cleared off now by the looks of it. Big hit at the end is now the Roughnecks taking over with some of their best field position since their turnover deep in scoring position as well, too, with 7 minutes to go in the third. We'll see what they have cooked up as well, too. Is they're going to hand this one off to the big running back, making a man miss right away,
Ooh.
Turning his feet forward, keeping them churning. He's going to gain about right around the first down marker, a gain of maybe 9 or so yards.
Yeah, that is a fantastic jump cut in the backfield just to get to the open space. And then after that, good luck taking that big man down. Once he gets a full head of steam going downfield, well, we've already seen it before. They know how to rumble, they know how to stumble, and they can definitely bumble their way to a first down marker.
That looked like the Travion Jones, the 5'11", 235-pound running back as well, too. We kind of mentioned in the pregame their 245-pound receiver. Well, running back, they got a little bit of size there as well, too. So they definitely are lacking a little bit of bulk here at the skill position. 2nd and 4, and they're going to hand this one off, bouncing it off the left side, turn this one upfield, and just getting tripped up. Maybe a gain of 3 yards, so we'll see a third down and just under a yard to go.
That's almost not fair. You go from a big 5'11 bruiser, 235, to then you sub in Christopher Ackerman, 5'7", 180 pounds soaking wet, and he just takes it around the edge just as quick as you can be. And that's a talk about a thunder and lightning duo. That is as classic as it gets right there. That is that's how you get to 3rd and 1 in a proper standpoint.
We went from Jerome Bettis to Darren Sproles in the matter of 30 seconds, it felt like as well, too. So 3rd down and 1, and they're going to hand this one off. Ball loose on the ground, able to recover, make a jump step, and get that first down. It looks like that was Ackerman with the ball as well, too. And wasn't pretty, but it looks like he was able to get that first down for him.
I think that jump cut on the recovery was able to get him there. I will have to wait and see the official announcement, but I do believe after he recovered that jump cut was able to get him there. And now, unfortunately, we do have the coaching staff heading onto the field here for an injury timeout. And that is, we'll have to wait and see how that turns out, but that is unfortunate as it gets.
Absolutely, as well, too, as it looks like they're starting to clear things up as well, too, and we're waiting for the official ruling as well, too. But if I'm looking at this correctly, it looks like they did give him the first down, so we'll be 1st down and goal now for the Roughnecks. Hopefully the injuries everyone is okay after that. Quarterback under center, and they're going to, looks like he's going to keep this one himself and barrels his way into the end zone on the QB keeper. We got our first points of the night with 5 minutes to go in the third. Keeping it right on the QB sneak is Antoine Singer, and the Roughnecks strike first.
Yeah, and you talked about him before the game. We talked about wanting to see a good game from Singer, and well, there you have it. He gets the points on the board for the Roughnecks in the toughest way possible, really taking a quarterback keeper up the middle. I mean, that's from about 4 yards out. Not an easy thing to do.
Not at all as well, too. And we saw the big bruising running back there in the backfield as well, too. We expected, hey, you know what? Go ahead and give it to Travion Jones. He'll just rumble his way in. They immediately snapped in and got them going. Kind of got the defense off guard a little bit by the looks of it as well, too. As we'll see, up 6-0. We'll see what the Roughnecks have cooked up here as well, too. As interesting lineup here they have as well. And it looks like see what we have going on here as well, too. See what they have planned is shotgun snap to the quarterback, throwing it to the end zone. He's got his tight end.
Oh!
Hands tried to pull it in with one hand, but unable to corral it. It's going to remain 6-0 lead for the Roughnecks.
Yeah, from kind of what is essentially a full house shotgun look there. They brought the heat, did the Rattlers, and just enough heat to make that pass a little off the mark. And I do mean a smidge off the mark. Probably still should be caught by his receiver, but that is a tough sledding when it gets that tight in the for conversion. But that is a great play by the Rattlers to put pressure on the quarterback, but unfortunate for the Roughnecks to not be able to convert there.
And a quick reminder, too, the first time these two teams matched up in Week 1, the final score was 6-0, with the Roughnecks winning. So we face ourselves in that position yet again as well, too, as the Rattlers getting ready to come back out on the offensive side. And I'm curious what they have planned, because the start of last drive is everything you could have wanted, and then it turned into everything you could have hated really quick, fast, in a hurry. So I'm curious what they have planned on offense for this drive.
Look, you got plenty of time. You've seen what Joe MacArthur's able to do on the ground. Just keep giving that man the ball. I'm sorry, I'm going to sound like a broken record player, but why not? If it's not broken, don't fix it.
As we now see shotgun snap to the quarterback, and they're going to hand this one off to MacArthur, and he's going to get swallowed up in the backfield. Absolutely nowhere to go, wrapped up by 2 to 3 defensive line before it's blown dead, and maybe a loss of about 2 yards on the play.
Yeah, so I'm going to eat my words there, and it's broken. So now it's time to fix it. Just that fast. That is unfortunately, that's not how you want to start out your first play. As last drive, you had so many penalties backing you up. This one, your first play gets stopped for a loss of, it looks like about 5 or 6 there on that play.
You went from having about 40 yards on your first 2 carries last drive to about -5 on your first carry on this drive as well, too. And you see the Roughnecks starting to tee off a little bit as well, too, especially after they are able to stop the run early on. You see second and third down is when they really pin their ears back and get going as well, too. So curious if the Roughnecks are able to take advantage of them getting upfield aggressively as well, too. See a little bit of pre-snap movement around here, quarterback trying to get them all lined up and situated as well, too. MacArthur in at running back, and we do see looks like they're going to see a 4-man rush now from the Roughnecks as well, too. And we're going to see immediately trying to check this one down. Looks like they're trying to set up a screen, but the running back went one way and the ball went the other.
Yeah, they actually tried to hit Jamal Grant there again out of that little quick down lineman set where he just slides right into the flats. Unfortunately, everybody ran there because Joe MacArthur was there. So you're trying to throw it into coverage to a tight end who is being covered by guys trying to cover a running back, and unfortunately the ball went to neither, and thankfully not to the defense.
That's going to set up a 3rd down and 15 now as well, too. And the bright side is we went through this whole quarter without a turnover so far as well, too. After having, what was it,
Oh, you just said it.
You know what? I'm trying to speak into existence. It was a lot of fun. I want to get double digits. So we've had a very it's more secure third quarter is how we're going to word it as well, too. 3rd down and 15. The Rattlers on offense as well, too. But when they were able to strike last week, they had a 60-something yard bomb towards the in a similar situation as this. The corners played up really tight on them, so I'm curious if the Roughnecks will back their guys off a little bit more, as we do see corners playing a little bit more often. We saw is immediately under pressure. Quarterback letting this one fly up the right sideline, and that one is almost caught, and it looks like it will fall incomplete. Did he come down with the interception? Trying to see. It looks like they're going to run an incomplete pass.
Yeah, I don't think so, but that was a great diving effort by the safety coming over to help. And to your point, they're talking about the corners playing off. You actually saw the corner on this near sideline actually pointing and telling the receiver to come on, because he was about a good 15 yards off the line of scrimmage, knowing that he has to get to the line for it to even matter. And he was already pointing at him like, come on, I'm ready for you. Unfortunately, just not much cooking there for the Rattlers.
Not at all. So 4th down and 15, and the Rattlers once again being put in a situation where you might have to see them come out with the punting unit, as it looks like they might be doing that as well, too. So their 3rd punt of the day, which so far it's been the best way for a drive to end this game, but minus the touchdown as well. So we'll see how the punt goes as well, too. And we saw last time the Roughnecks got a punt, they were able to flip the field really quickly as well.
Yeah, and we're actually going to head to the 4th here on this one, as it does look like they're going to let the time wind out there. And before we head to the 4th, DJ, we guys got to just, I mean, what do you expect here in the 4th down? 6-0. It's been a close one all around.
I'm expecting at least one more turnover from somebody, just because I just want to see it happen again. But I got to imagine the Roughnecks are going to kind of do what they did in that 3rd quarter. Really conservative, moving the ball effectively, and then the Rattlers, I think they're going to try and have to hit a big play. It's kind of their bread and butter, is all or nothing sometimes.
Absolutely. And don't forget, guys, there is still one game to come after us. And before we get started the 4th quarter, we're going to go ahead and let you in on that little bit of the intro for the game coming up, just to get you ready for it.
3, 2, 1.
This is Sparta!
Well, the man is going to continue after this as well, too. Can't wait to see how that second half of our doubleheader plays out with a star-studded cast on the call as well, too. So we look forward to that one. But, Kelsey, we got ourselves a fourth quarter here we got to finish.
Absolutely. So we're going to get back to it here, guys, as they're getting ready to finish up and get started here in the fourth, lining back up. But, yeah, we got, you mentioned the star-studded cast. Commissioner Cooper, Andy Sire, Vince Stover, Andrew LeDuc, LeDuc. This one of the days, we just need to put a lay and then give him a duck emoji at this point in time.
You just want to say that you're looking for any reason.
I really just want to comment that I need a duck emoji on Andrew's name. That's all I really want in life.
That's fair enough. All right, so we're going to start off the fourth quarter. 4th down and 15. The Rattlers look like they're going to come out and have to punt this one away as they got a long ways to go and deep in their own territory. And if you're the Roughnecks, at this point, you got to feel pretty good. That snap actually goes over the punter's head as well, too. And that's going to go out of the back of the end. So that's actually going to be a safety as well. So Roughnecks able to capitalize there, and it's going to be an 8-0 lead now for the Roughnecks, and they're going to be getting the ball back.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had your bingo card ready for a safety on a punt attempt, because that is the next thing that just gave you a bingo in today's game. Has been all the turnovers in the world, and now we're hitting the safety in the end zone. So tough break there for the Rattlers, but you're still within the game. You still have an opportunity in this game. I mean, yeah, now you have to give the ball back to the Roughnecks, but you've been able to shut them down all game long until the last drive.
Question, though, is do you think they did that on purpose? Because it didn't look like it, but at the same time, maybe you kind of go with the punt there and don't risk them getting a return, possibly, setting them up in better scoring position. I'm not trying to think of like maybe a big brain possibility here, but I'm thinking that's just going to be potentially something that could cost you, depending on what you're able to do on this drive.
Yeah, it might have been an oopsie. Okay, well, it could have been worse type of situation. Like, let's be honest, it could have been worse if it was a touchdown. If they recovered in the end zone for a touchdown, that could have been much worse. Get a block in the end zone, something like that. But I definitely don't think it was on purpose. But it definitely looked like the punter probably wasn't ready. As it was just not pretty.
Not at all. So we'll see the Roughnecks now coming back on offense with an 8-point lead. A couple minutes here into the fourth quarter and a chance to try and keep this lead going forward as well as a shotgun snap. Going to throw this one quickly underneath on the hitch route. Gain of about maybe 4 to 5 yards before being brought down. So a quick little check down to stay ahead of the chains here, making it second and manageable.
Yeah, and I love that play call. Just something quick and easy. Let your quarterback get into a rhythm. Let your offense get into a rhythm going forward. And show that you can do something besides run the ball. Because up until this point, that's all they've done really effectively is run the ball, had the Roughnecks win. So now you hit a nice little quick hitch on the outside. And this one, obviously, unlike the one in the first half, did not go for 40 yards. But just keeps the ball moving.
Just got getting to Darian Jacobs-Hudson and some of your receivers involved in this game as well. Because it's been a bit of a quiet game for them overall. Just haven't been able to get a whole lot going offensively for them as well. So 2nd and 6 now, quarterback in snap, letting this one go deep up the left sideline. He's got a man open, and that is caught by Hudson Jacobs, and he's going to waltz into the end zone for a huge play touchdown. And just like that, the Roughnecks with an 8-point swing find themselves up 14-0 on the Rattlers and a chance to expand on this lead.
Oh, and unfortunately, a holding there on the offensive line. And you saw this off the snap. He was the close receiver today, and Jacobs-Hudson hits a double move on the corner, and the corner was just left stone-footed. And this is heartbreaking for the offensive line. And you see the offensive lineman pleading his case right there. And every offensive lineman in the country knows that feeling of being the one responsible for the holding call on a touchdown play. And it is the most... You kind of hope the ground can swallow you up at some point in time if there was an opportunity. It is just heartbreaking, and that play was a fantastic throw, a fantastic route by the receiver. Just unfortunately called back for an offensive lineman holding.
Seen arguably our 3 best plays of the half called back from penalties. The Roughnecks saying, rather there's anything you could do, I can do better. So we're going to see a 2nd down and 16 now. Still an 8-0 lead for the Roughnecks as well too. And we were about 4 minutes here into the fourth quarter as well. So I'm not opposed to the idea of them honestly just trying it again because you have pretty good protection and you saw him able to get loose behind him. So maybe even try it again, maybe on the opposite side even.
Oh, I mean, it was such a great double move off the line. I mean, why not give him the opportunity?
And this pitch attempt, able to corral that one, almost pitched wide, able to do a fantastic snag. And that ball is loose. He fumbles that one back into the field of play. And it looks like this one is going to be recovered by the offense, fortunately, as well, too. But that was a near disaster twice over.
I am almost positive Joe MacArthur caused another fumble yet again in this one. I know it's recovered by the offense, but I do believe that was Joe MacArthur on the fumble yet again on the big hit there before the running back could go out of bounds. And that's 3 fumbles by this man, not including his running prowess on the offensive end. he is having himself a fantastic game defensively. Unfortunately, it's just still not enough for the Rattlers.
We got Darius Leonard suiting up for him today here with the forced fumble. So third down and 14 now as well. Now the Roughnecks with a very long ways to go after what felt like a touchdown play just a couple of plays ago as well too. So we'll see what the offense has cooked up. Shotgun snap to the quarterback. Quick check down. And almost intercepted, taking a huge hit underneath as well too. Trying to do that quick check down they did on first down, but it was not happening this time. Yeah,
I believe that's Justin Williams out there in the corner, trying to make a cut there on the ball and almost times that perfectly. Unfortunately, just runs right into the back of the receiver, makes the tackle, does a great job stopping the play for a fourth down. Now, just unfortunately, that could have been a house call if he's able to get in front of the receiver.
That was as good of a break as you were going to find. So we'll see fourth down and 12. Now the Roughnecks being forced to punt this one away after. What a change of events we've had so far in the last few plays. You go from scoring a touchdown to now punting away with less than 10 minutes to go. Still up 8-0. Still the Rattlers have to find something to go offensively. Curious to see if the Rattlers, do you think they maybe try and go back to a little bit of a running attack? So we have not really seen them try to put the ball on the ground a whole lot in the last few possessions.
I think you have to, but here's the problem. The Roughnecks know it's coming. As you saw on the last drive, the first play, they sent the house and shut MacArthur down for a loss of 5. So, it'll be interesting to see here on this punt what they're able to do. This one goes out of bounds here for no return, not giving Joe MacArthur a chance to potentially punish them here on the return.
I wonder if the Rattlers are considering maybe like just a quick screen or something like that. Like obviously you mentioned they're keying on the run. We've seen the Roughnecks sending a lot of extra heat all the time. Maybe just something quick to get the ball out into the flat and maybe see if you can get MacArthur just a little bit of open space so he can avoid the big guys and put a move on the secondary.
Yeah, it's possible, and again, I mean, honestly, you got to do something. You have to figure out some way to get your playmaker in space, whether it be through that dump off, it be through that screen type of play or screen action. You got to do something to get your playmaker in space, and if you get the opportunity, if he gets the opportunity 1-on-1 with a corner or safety in space, I'm gonna give my nod to Joe MacArthur at this point in time with what I've been seeing so far today. But I mean, yeah, this is. I'm interested to see what the Rattlers could come up with because right now you have to protect your quarterback and you have to somehow get your running back, who is Joe MacArthur, into space. Like those are your two options. So how do you do both?
That is the golden question here as well too. As we now see bringing in a tight formation, so it looks like they're gonna have some extra in-tight blocking. Shotgun snap, and MacArthur's gonna get off the left side and immediately met at the line of scrimmage and driven backwards for a loss of a couple as well too. And fantastic job by the defense just getting in there. And it looks like we might have a yellow handkerchief on the field.
Yeah, it looks like we have it here at the end. Although I do think they're going to give him forward progress here and say he got only a loss of 2 after all of that. So not as bad as that could have been, but interesting to see what this penalty is going to be here at the end.
Absolutely as well, too, as we're waiting to see on the call. It looks like it might be on the defense as well, too, by the looks of it as well, waiting to see the official call. And it looks like it's on the defense, so this will be going in the Rattlers' favor and moving them forward by the looks of it.
Yeah, let's see what they counted off here. Looks like it might have even been a face mask there at the end of that one, because that's 15 they're counting off, so that might have been a face mask there at the end, and that's a heartbreaker if you're the Roughnecks. You've been doing a great job against MacArthur, and now you gave free first down.
You know, if you're the Rattlers, you will take it by any means necessary at this point as well, too. The flags have been unfortunate for you, as it looks like it's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct is what they're going to call on this one as well, too. So even more painful as it moves them on the cusp of scoring position as well. Yeah,
that's a tough break there for sure. And shout out to Ryan there with the eagle eye view there on the unsportsmanlike conduct. I could not see the call there from it, but yeah, that is tough. And you see the explanation. It looks like it was as they were blowing the whistle is where that unsportsmanlike conduct came from, the explanation for the ref. So we'll see what the Rattlers can do here now with the fresh set of downs.
And they're going to hand this one off to MacArthur off the right side. He's going to throw it. It's going to be a halfback pass wide open in the end zone. He's got a man for a touchdown. The Rattlers able to strike off the trickery and get on the board, a 2-point away from tying this game up.
Man, Mr. Do-It-All Joe MacArthur at this point in time, he could have ran for a touchdown in the first half if they gave him an opportunity. Couldn't do that. He has multiple fumbles caused, and now he has a passing touchdown to his name. Man, have yourself a game, Joe MacArthur.
I'm curious how long they've had that one in the arsenal as well, too. Because that was an incredible amount of patience to wait to this point to break it out as well, too. Almost a perfect timing. Because after those penalties on the last drive, I'd have broke it out. After some of the first half tomfoolery, I'd have broke it out. So that was a whole lot of patience to keep that one until this point.
Absolutely, and Justin Williams, the receiver on the end of that one. We talked about he had an opportunity to break on a pick there, take it for a house call for 6 on their defensive possession. Well, This time he got to walk into the end zone wide open as a receiver with nobody covering because you saw Joe MacArthur out there in space, and everybody's like, no, shut that down. So that is a great play there by the Rattlers to get on the board.
And now trying to tie this one up at 2 points. Handing this one off, going to the left side and breaking a tackle in the backfield, trying to make some space, and the defense rallies to bring him down for a loss. And that's going to make it 8-6. Still the Roughnecks out in front, so the Rattlers a little bit demoralizing there, but you are within striking distance and you are on the board.
Yeah, look, at this point in time, it's a 2-point game. You have plenty of time. You have 5 minutes to go. Your defense is playing great. Now it's time to go down in there and shut them down. It's your opportunity to get the ball back, and you've already turned them over almost 5 times at this point in time. If you had been able to get the last fumble, this is your opportunity if you're the Rattlers.
I mean, we were of no shortage of turnovers early on. Both teams have started to cover up the ball a little bit better here in the second half. So 5 minutes ago, I'm curious to see how the Roughnecks come out on offense as well too. Do they try and bleed the clock a little bit? Do they maybe try and go for a big shot, maybe pick up a few first downs? So I'm curious to see what they have on offense. And if you're the Rattlers, I feel like you have to be extremely aggressive here. I feel like you can't be too conservative. I think you got to go after. Maybe you give up a first down or a bigger play, but you got to try and make a big game flipping play.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'm attacking the quarterback with at least 5 coming at you right now, and we do have actually a timeout there by the Rattlers to get everything, or by the Roughnecks to get everything set up. But they see him coming out of this tight set again, so we'll see.
And they're going to hand this one off in good amount of space, going forward for a gain of about 5 or 6 yards before being upended as well too. So really good initial blocking there for the Roughnecks, set up a second down and a lot more manageable.
Yeah, and we do get a timeout. Then it looks like an injured player there on the field. But yeah, the Rattlers doing a great job, able to shut that run down after. Well, unfortunately, after a gain of about 7 there, but at the end of the day, you have to shut it down before you can't give up a first down, and that's the end of the goal.
And I'm curious if the defensive backs, we kind of talked about it earlier, how they were backing off in that situation. Now I kind of want to see them creep up as well too and try and get hands on the receivers. As this run in the backfield is shut down, almost lost the ball there yet again, but stopped for a loss of maybe 2 or 3. So we're going to see a third down and about 3, and the Rattlers defense really coming to play here in this drive.
And if I'm the Roughnecks right now, I'm telling my ball carriers, the moment you get touched, that they go for that ball, you just fall to the ground. I have seen too many of these running backs start to lose that possession and keep trying to fight for more yardage. And you've seen the reason why all these fumbles so far. And this is I'm telling them protect this ball. It's put all points in your elbows.
It's Don Billingsley and Booby Miles. Cover the points, roll with it. No more fumbles at this point. It's the Friday night lights on the sidelines, what we're having right now, a coaching moment. So third down and 2 now, as we do see in the shotgun for the Roughnecks, and they're going to go for a pass, slant over the middle, caught wide open, turns this one upfield, makes a move on the safety into the second level, inside the 5, and Terry and Jacob Hudson with that touchdown that was called back earlier. He's going to get a chance now as Jacobs Hudson probably put this game on ice with a touchdown, making it 14-6.
Great job after the reception just to set up the safety with an outside-in move, and just as soon as he catches that ball, he puts his foot in the ground, leaves the safety in the dust, and just takes off. That is a fantastic throw, fantastic catch, and even better run after the catch there for the Roughnecks to face this one out now.
That was a fantastic move he put on the safety with the head fake as well too, completely leaving him stuck grasping for air. 14-6, and the Rattlers desperately need to stop him here because a 2-point all but effectively ends the game. If you do stop him, you have a chance to at least tie the game with a score and the 2 points.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think that safety that they left in the dust, that was actually Joe MacArthur, a guy who's had a fantastic game. Unfortunately, got left in the dust on that one. But if they're able to stop this 2-point conversion, not all is harmed.
Now, as they come out under center, I formation, the quarterback going with the sneak, kind of upending on the defensive tackle there as well, too. Looks like they tried to catch him off guard with a little bit of miscommunication with the snap center exchange, and doesn't look like he's going to get it. So if you're the Rattlers, I'm saying there's a chance.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's over yet. This is an opportunity for the Rattlers. There's still a minute 55 as the clock's still ticking to go. It's going to have to be quick. It's going to have to be efficient, but it is an opportunity. You have a few plays left in your arsenal.
At this point, you almost want to try and I would almost consider bringing in like all my receivers, just have max protection, maybe just throw it up to my big play guy, number 17 as well. So I'd almost try and force a one-on-one, see if you can get as much time as possible, just let him get down the field. I'm not risking too many full spread looks where my quarterback can get tee off on.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think, you look at an opportunity to get Justin Williams one-on-one, maybe even split Joe MacArthur out one-on-one, and see if you can just let them go up the field against one corner, and you block 7 if you can, and give them that opportunity. I mean, it would not be the worst idea in the world.
Honestly, remember the movie Remember the Titans, how they won the national championship on the backside, George reversed because of the over pursuit. Maybe break that out here as well too, so even get them over pursuing. They're going to hand this one off to MacArthur, cuts this one off field, and what a fantastic open field tackle there as well too.
Oh, the ball comes loose.
Like the ball came out as well, and the Roughnecks are going to come away with it as well. So that will all but effectively do it here with about a minute to go as well. So you know what? I tried to pitch a game plan idea, but before I can even finish my sentence, we got ourselves another turnover and a fitting way to potentially end this game. Unfortunately, it looks like we do have an injury on the field as well, too. So hopefully this is not too serious as well as they're going to tend to that person.
Yeah, that is heartbreaking. That is a tough injury right there, as that is the man who picked up the ball actually still down. But that is a tough way to end the game if you're the Rattlers. Joe MacArthur, guys, had a fantastic game. Going around the edge, tries to make a play, gets upended, ball, head on the ball, and that ball just squirts loose.
Perfect tackle. We talked about the first run of the game, a fantastic tackle. And on the last play of the game, there was a fantastic initial tackle there as well, too. As this will effectively do it for the game, 14-6, the Roughnecks out on top. They really just have to run one more play by the looks of it to keep the clock going as well, too. And this has been quite the game as well, too. Started off, defensive battle, turnover machine, as they will just quickly hand this one off to the left side. Going forward, covering the ball, and he's just going to go down. Gain of maybe a couple yards as well, too. So the Roughnecks going to bounce back from their first loss of the season, getting the W, advancing to 3-1 in the Rattlers, falling to 0-4 on the season, but they had plenty of moments in all of their games as well.
Yeah, no, this was a fun game to watch, a very intense back and forth, really. I mean, you look at this one from all around, and that was as competitive as it gets all around. And look, we thought, you talked about game one between these two, ended 6-0. This one ending, 14-6, and a very competitive game, as now the clock does hit all zeros. And we'll bring back in Ryan here as we get back to the whole crew. Ryan, I mean, 14-6 ball game, all these turnovers, tighter game in the second half. It's been a fun one.
Looks like you are muted, Ryan.
And I'm not anymore. Yeah, this was a fun second half. I gotta admit, Rattlers looked to be in control early in the second half with that some of those long runs by Joe MacArthur, who is certainly could be the game's MVP, but unfortunately they got driven back by some penalties. They wound up losing. They wound up punting away to the Roughnecks, and the Roughnecks made him pay with that touchdown by Wallace with the sneak early in the third quarter, and then that safety. That was a killer. I think that was the killer. Yeah. That safety, that botch. I would say I don't think the punter was even ready for that ball. That ball was snapped. So that turned out to be kind of a killer. But I give credit to the Rattlers. They hung in there. Their defense hung in there. That long pass that was gained by a penalty that kind of got them to stick around. And then we had that halfback pass. That was a great play call. That got them within 2. And then that kill shot at the end, the dagger with Wallace to Jacobs Hudson on that post pattern. Nice juke move to get free, and he ends the game. So I gotta kind of wonder, guys, who do you think was the game MVP in this one? It's really tough. This is a really tough one.
Yeah, that is honestly the game. Look, the game from Joe MacArthur. That's on a losing effort. I don't know how many players I can say had 3 forced fumbles. And one of which was recovered by the offensive team, but then also a halfback pass for a touchdown on top of his rushing. I don't know how many players can say that they've ever had that type of game in a winning effort, let alone a losing effort, and not gotten player of the game. It's hard to look at that and be like, wow, this guy doesn't deserve it. But again, he's on the losing side. Do you go offensive? Do you go for the winning side? In which case, do you go Singer or do you go Jacobs Hudson? And I mean, that's a tough choice for me. I honestly think I have to go on the losing side of things. I want to give it to Joe MacArthur personally for myself, but that's just because I've not seen a guy literally all around the ball offensively and defensively the same way he was today.
So we're going to Chuck Halley pick for this one, aren't we?
For me, I'm going to go with Tadarian Jacobs Hudson because he's going to have a short stat sheet. It was 2 catches and probably 80 yards on that touchdown. But there's also the play that didn't count. That's when the game kind of flipped on its head, it felt like, as well, too. From that point, the Roughnecks basically were in full control at that point as well, too. After that, you had the safety. You had another touchdown. You had them moving the ball defensively. They locked in even more. So I'm going to give him it because winning team, all that stuff, and he made the big plays and he took the momentum back, it felt like, because this momentum was literally a seesaw going back and forth with 2 kids on each side. It was a complete mess, and I think he's the one who kind of sealed it for the Roughnecks.
Yeah. I like that. I gotta give Singer his credit though, the quarterback for the Roughnecks. We talk about his stat sheet could have been much bigger today. You talk about that big drop pass at the end of the first half that just killed that would have been a walk-in touchdown of about 60 yards there by itself. So that you add that he has a rushing touchdown, he has the passing touchdown to Jacobs Hudson, both on great plays. Tough yardage on that rushing play as well. So I got to just give the nod to him. Like, congratulations, you had a great game. Unfortunately for me, I can't give it to anybody but Joe McCarthy personally.
Absolutely as well too. Ryan, I'm going to ask this one to you. We went through this game. When you look at the Rattlers moving forward, you're 0-4 right now. It's been a rough season. What do you want to see them do moving forward to try and finish this season on a more positive note?
Obviously, you're playing for pride at this point. You're 0-4. You're only scoring about 6 points a game, and they scored 6 points in this game. So, for me, if I'm the Rattlers, I'm saying make Joe McCarthy. I mean, if you watch the Arena Football League, he's their Barry Wagner. Barry Wagner. If you remember Barry Wagner from the old Arena Football days, he was Mr. Everything, wide receiver, Jack linebacker. Excuse me. Did everything for the Predators and for the San Jose Cybercats. But so Joe McArthur, he's my Swiss Army knife. I'm saying keep him on both sides of the ball, give him the ball on offense, let him create turnovers on defense, make him your star. He's your star guy in this lineup. But I figure I gotta see some more protection from their line play. Also open up some holes on the running game. So I'd like to see better line play from them. Also Joe McArthur, he's the stud in their team, and hopefully he gets the ball more. We get to see more of him making plays in the next 2 weeks for this Rattlers team.
Absolutely. Yeah. And now looking for the Roughnecks, what do you want to see them moving forward? You're 3-1. You bounce back after your first loss as well too. What do you feel for the Roughnecks moving forward at the rest of the season?
Yeah, this was a big win for them. A nice bounce back win for them. I'd like to see them. Today was a turnover factory, so reduce those turnovers. Obviously, is number one. They did that in the second half. They clearly did that in the second half. They didn't have any turnovers in the second half. But at least see more consistency on offense. The running game, actually, I like to see that Thunder Lightning, the baby bus combination with you got what's his name, Detravian Jones and the other running back.
Oh, Christopher Ackerman.
Yes, Christopher Ackerman. The Thunder and Lightning combination there. Keep the ball running the ground, grind it down, and then maybe get some nice short passes to Jacobs Hudson there. So like to see them kind of run the ball a little bit more and just create opportunities for their passing offense. The run should help create the pass, and I think that's what the Roughnecks needed to go going forward. Defensively, they were really, except for that one play of the halfback pass, they performed pretty stellar. They did pretty stellar on defense. So I'd like to see that momentum going. Send 4 guys, 5 guys after the quarterback. Keep that going for the rest of the season. And you got a revenge game coming up on the last week of the season against the Bombers. So let that momentum carry. Learn some things from this game. Protect the ball, and you're good. You're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to say, the one thing with the Roughnecks I was surprised I didn't see anything of, which was Jack Wesley, the guy you mentioned in the lead up, DJ. With that size, I didn't see him out there at all. Now you did see the backup quarterback Ortiz in there, and he's actually the guy that dropped that deep pass. But you didn't see Jack Wesley really get involved offensively at all. And obviously they're predicated on the run game. That's obvious just watching their play. But you got to imagine you have a couple 6-footers out there at receiver. Why not use them? What are we missing here?
It was a little bit interesting. I mean, the offensive line play wasn't really that strong, so they didn't get to take advantage of it as much as they wanted to as well, too. I mean, you didn't get a chance to throw many jump balls, so not 100% sure, honestly. I'm really not 100% sure. I pointed out maybe there's something we were missing, but I was surprised we didn't really say his name once after the game actually started as well, too. So definitely something to keep an eye on, but you know what else you should keep an eye on is the second game of our doubleheader coming up as well, too. We had a fantastic start to the Monday Night Mayhem, but it's going to get just as mayhem afterwards as well too. As we got the undefeated Bombers in action as well too, so that should be really fun to see if they could get handed their first loss of the season as well.
Absolutely, cannot wait for that one. As we talked about the star-studded group for that one, you can just take a look at the picture and see. You got Jason Commissioner Cooper, Andy Sire, Vince Stover, and Andrew Leduc. I'm just gonna give him a duck emoji every time I see him now. But yeah, I mean, you can't be more excited for that game, and obviously than the game we just had for you. We gave you an exciting kickoff to Monday Night Mayhem. Well, the second game is going to be even better.
Should be an absolute blast. It was a pleasure joining you guys as well too. And you know what, Ryan, you should tell the people you have yourself a podcast as well too before we take off. You're going, let them know where they can listen to you if they enjoyed you so far today.
I do. I have a podcast. It's called No Credentials Required. You can find it wherever you find podcasts, and you can also watch us on Belly Up TV on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock a.m. Get yourself some bacon, get yourself a donut, get some refresh your coffee. Go ahead and watch that podcast. Watch the week's edition of the podcast. But if you missed that, you can listen anytime on any podcast platform. Like, share, subscribe, leave a rating, 5 stars preferred, all that stuff.
Should be
5 stars preferred and a side of bacon, please.
Yes, absolutely.
It sounds like a very quality breakfast on the high end, if you will. Speaking of the high end, though, Kelsey, we got our own podcast as well too. Go ahead and tell the people a little bit about that.
Man, it's almost like you're built for these exchanges here. But High-Low Sports, guys, if you guys haven't saw us by now, I'm sorry. You're missing out on life. And it's one of those situations. High-Low Sports we've been around for a few years, DJ and I have. And we show up every Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Belly Up TV. You can also catch us every Thursday, 2 p.m. We have a rerun that plays on our Facebook page as well. So be sure to check that out. We talk everything sports, and we're leading up to our huge draft extravaganza coming up. We're going to be covering the North this week and the last division in the final week, and then we'll be releasing our huge NFL draft big board coming up. So it's going to be a whole lot of fun on the High-Low Sports podcast. But we'll also be here every week. So whether we're covering the pregame or we're covering the game, we're going to be with you guys every week for this NLFA season. And Ryan, you'll be with us the whole way.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's an absolute blast to you guys as well, too. That will do it for us so far today. Stick around for part 2 of the Monday Night Mayhem. We will see you guys next week.